Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of my Christmas Holiday 2022 series. Today we're actually going to be making a December daily. So as we're going to look through it, you're going to see it looks nothing like a December daily yet. It just looks like a Christmas album. But I'm going to be working in it and I'm going to be sharing my progress with you guys. So for right now, yes, it does look just like a Christmas album, but I made sure there was enough spots in the album for 30 days, plus even more. If you want to do multiple photos every day, there's enough spots for 30 days through December. So like I said, right now it's going to look like a regular album, but I'm going to take you guys with me through my process, and it's going to keep me accountable so that I'm actually making the book or making the December daily. So I used this collection from Recollections, and I bought it last year, so I have no idea if it's still available, but it's called Evergreen. And it's actually really, really, really beautiful. I absolutely love it. But I'm probably going to be purchasing some sort of a December daily printable off of Etsy. And if I do, I will link that in the next video for you guys, so you can kind of follow along with me that way if you want to. So it is 8.5 by 8.5 with a 2.5-inch spine. And like I said, these papers are just beautiful. And it is a cardstock album. It's not chipboard. So on the front here, I've just used some of the cut-aparts from the collection and some of the papers. Again, I might embellish this more as we go. Right now, it is very simple. So it does have a ribbon closure here. So it opens up like this, and there is a pocket right in the front here. There's nothing in it yet because I don't know what size photos I'm gonna have for what I want to put in here. I'm thinking my actual December daily will go in the pages, and then the front and back with the pocket can have maybe some special photos or overflow photos or anything like that. So on the first page here, we have 2 inserts, and I designed this to fit 4x6 photos because December is busy. We don't have time to be cutting down photos and all that stuff. So I designed it so that each page holds at least 3 4x6 photos, but 4 of the pages do hold 4 4x4 or 4x6 photos. Actually, 8 4x6 photos. So there's a ton of room for 4x6 photos. So I left the back blank because I'm probably going to put the photos on the back and then journal on the matted sides if there's not pattern paper on it. So these come out, and we did this cute little peekaboo pocket, which I'll show you how to do in the tutorial. And then these sides open like this. So like I said, tons of room for photos. I'm probably going to do about 3 days per page. Maybe even 4 depending on how many photos I have. Then we go to page 2, and so the collection doesn't actually have a ton of cut aparts, so I just kind of played with the pattern paper and cut out things from the pattern paper. So that's what I did here. So this has a magnetic closure, and then it comes down like this. And I have 2 3x4 little cut aparts in here. I'm intending these for journaling, but if I happen to have some cute or small photos to put on there, I will do that. And then these open up like that. It's kind of harder to see. And then they close back up, and then these 2 little cut aparts just go in this little pocket at the bottom here. And then this page is the same, so this comes down with a magnetic closure. We have 2 cut aparts, and then these 2 come up. So super, super cute. This is very, 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 very simple to put together. I bet you guys could put it together in under an hour for sure, and it's a big album. So then here we have a repeat of page 1. We have these 2 cut aparts that come out. These 2 flip to the side, and you have your cute little peekaboo pockets, and then these go back in here. And then again, same thing here. These 2 come out. You have your peekaboo pockets. These open up. Just an absolute ton of room for nice big photos, which is what I really wanted. And then this is the next page. So this is, I believe, this will be page 6. So again, I just kind of played with some of the cut aparts from the collection. This is that magnetic closure page that comes down. You have your 2 inserts, and then these 2 flip up. Really, really simple, you guys. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. And then same thing here. This comes down. The cut aparts. These flip up. So simple and beautiful and effective. Like, it's a very, very nice book. I'm exceptionally happy with it. So then we have our peekaboo pocket again, the cut aparts that come out. These open to the side. And then these just slide back in here. And at the back, we have a large pocket again here. And then it's just all nicely matted. And then that's it. So like I said, it's going to get much more embellished once we start with the December Daily. And I'm hoping to post the December Daily videos about every 3 days, you know, alongside the holiday 2022 series. So like I said, I'm doing it to keep myself accountable so I actually get it done, because I do kind of struggle with actually getting the December Daily done. For anybody who's on here who doesn't know what a December Daily is, basically you take photos every day in December, you put them in a book, and you kind of journal about all the days, just a tiny bit. You know, the days you don't do anything really, you can just take pictures of your hot chocolate or your dogs in the snow, whatever, it doesn't really matter. And then kind of just journal about it. And then, you know, in years to come, you can look back and you can kind of see all of those wonderful memories from December. So I'm very excited about this. And let's get on to the tutorial. All right, so let's work on our base. So for our base, you need 2 pieces of cardstock. I am using this green cardstock called Noble Fur. It's a 100-pound heavyweight cardstock from Lawn Fawn. And I've left it at 8.5 by 11. On the 11-inch side, you're gonna just score it at 2.5, and you're gonna do that for both of them. And then fold and burnish these. Just like this. All right, then I'm going to grab my beacon glue, and I'm gonna add glue to just one of these sections. And then I'm just gonna glue them together here. And as simple as that is the base for our book. So just make sure you burnish it. And then that's it. That's the base. All right, so for our pages, there's going to be 4 pages, and they're all going to be the same. But you can switch up what style you have on the front and what style you have on the back. And once we're done this page, I'll show you what I mean by that, okay? So our base pages are going to measure 8.5 by 8, and this is just red cardstock from Michaels. It's 65-pound cardstock, okay? And it's just called red from Michaels. So 8.5 by 8, and on the 8.5-inch side, I scored at 1/2 inch. And you can go ahead and fold and burnish this. And we're just using an L hinge for this this book. So it's just a simple L hinge. I'm not putting like a ton on these pages, so it'll lie flat enough for this purpose. All right, so for the front of this page, we're going to do a shallow pocket at the bottom. So the pocket measures the piece of our cardstock measures 2 by 9. On the 9-inch side, you're just gonna score at 1/2 inch on both sides. And then on the 2-inch side, you're just gonna score at 1/2 inch. And then you can go ahead and cut across your corners. So just remember to cut across right below where your 2 score lines intersect. And then we can go ahead and fold and burnish on these score lines. Just like this. And I always like to fold and burnish from the top as well. All right, now I'm just gonna add glue to the bottom section here, the long section, and we're gonna glue that down first. So it's gonna go all the way at the bottom here. Make sure that your hinge for your page, your base page, is down so you're not gluing on top of it. So make sure it's folded down like this, right? Okay, and then we can open this up, burnish in here. Then we can add glue to these little sections. Just like this. All right, and then for the top here, we're going to put two 4x6 or 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 flaps, but it will measure 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. So 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. On the 6 3/4 side, you're just going to score it 1/2 inch, and you're going to do that for 2 for here, okay? So fold and burnish them. Just like this, and add glue to one of your hinges, and we're gonna glue it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. I don't want it to go all the way to the edge here. You can burnish that, and then the other one, we'll go just 1/8 of an inch from the other edge, and just make sure not to go over that score line because it will go into this piece about 7/8 of an inch, and burnish. All right, and then we have another 6 3/4 by 4 1/4 piece, and on the 6 3/4 side, you're going to score it 1/2 inch and fold and burnish, and that is going to go down here like this on the pocket. So just center it in on your pocket. Just like this. All right, now we need a set of magnets. So 2 magnets and some tape. And we are going to place one of our magnets on the top of this flap, kind of more to this side of it. So kind of as you're looking at it, make sure that it doesn't go past this flap here underneath, because the other magnet's gonna have to go on there. So you're just gonna kind of want to go more to this side, and then just tape that down, then flip it over to the back, get another piece of tape, find your magnet here, grab your other magnet, let it stick there, and then close it down. Give it a burnish so that it sticks underneath. Then kind of pull it off and burnish that. All right. And then for in here, we are going to have 2 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 little mats, and I've chosen the green cardstock, and they're just going to be hiding in here for extra journaling or whatever you need to do. All right, so now let's move to the back. So on the back of our page, we are going to have a pocket with an aperture, so like an opening. So the pocket measures 9 by 3 3/4. On the 9-inch side, you're going to score it 1/2 inch, flip it in the scoreboard and score it 1/2 inch. And then on the 3 3/4 side, you're just going to score it 1/2 inch, okay? And you can go ahead and cut across those corners. So just right below where your two score lines intersect. And then let's fold it down for now, just so we can work on the measurements. All right, so from the score line in, you're going to measure 1.5 inches on this side. Then you're going to measure in 1.5 inches on this side from the score line in. Then you're going to measure up from the bottom 1.5 inches, up from the bottom 1.5 inches, okay? Then you're going to make that line here. And then you're going to mark down from the top to that line 1.5 inches and down from the top to that line 1.5 inches. And then just connect all of those marks with your pencil and a ruler. I've already erased this extra little line here, okay? But then that's going to give you this section to cut out. So I'm going to need a metal ruler and a and a cutting blade. So I'm just going to line up my ruler with that bottom line and cut across. And then you can cut these as well with the craft knife, but I find it just easier to use my scissors and snip down. All right, and then a really easy thing to do is do all of your other pockets like this. So do this one first, then cut and score your other pockets, and then just line this up on top of it. Say this was the pocket. Line it up on top of it and just trace this so you don't have to measure it 4 times, okay? So now we're gonna get our page back in, and this is gonna get glued at the bottom here, all right? So I'm going to fold and burnish from the top, because that just gives us the nicest, flattest result. If you want to put acetate in here, do it before you glue it down. I don't want acetate in mine. But if you want acetate, then glue it before, put the acetate on before you glue it down. So just center it in the bottom. And burnish it. Make sure it doesn't go past the bottom of the page. Open it up. Burnish it, or glue it. Put some glue on there. My little bottle is getting empty, I think. I have to refill it. It's just art glitter glue in that little bottle. I just put it in the smaller bottle because I like that better. All right, so that's glued on. So now we have 2 pieces of our cardstock that measures 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. So 6 3/4 by 4 1/4. And on the 6 3/4 side, we scored it 1/2 inch. So go ahead and fold and burnish your pieces, and we're going to glue them on here, but this time it'll be about 1/8 of an inch down from the top. So they're the same size flaps, they're just going in different directions. And burnish. And then the other one will get glued over here, lined up with this one. So just make sure it's lined up and that you're not going over your hinge back here. And burnish it. All right, so then to go in here, to keep these two flaps closed, I have two green pieces that are 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So they're gonna go in here to keep this closed. All right. All right, so this is all 4 of my pages completed. So what I did is I alternated from the aperture pocket and then the, you know, magnetic closure on the back of this one. And then I did the magnetic closure on the front, the aperture pocket on the back, and then the aperture pocket on the front, the magnetic on the back, magnetic aperture. Okay, so you can do yours however you want in whatever, you know, orientation that you want, but this is what I like. All right, so let's go ahead and glue these into the book. So I'm gonna start with my back page and I'm gonna add glue on my hinge here. So get a good amount of glue on there because this is what's holding your whole page in. I love how pretty and festive this looks with the red and green. So put it right along the spine, but center it top and bottom so you have about 1/8 of an inch at the top and the bottom. Make sure you don't go over. So that is all of our pages attached into the book. All right, now let's go ahead and add pockets to the front and back inside cover. So I already did the back cover, so now we're gonna do the front. So they're the exact same size. It's gonna be the same for front and back. The pocket measures 4 1/4 by 9 1/2. On the 9 1/2 inch side, you're going to score it 1/2 an inch on both sides. And on the 4 1/4 side, you're just going to score it 1/2 an inch. Then we are going to cut across our corners, just like this. And then we can fold and burnish these. Like that. All right, and then we can fold and burnish from the top as well. And then we'll add glue on just the bottom flap first, or just the little bottom section. And just kind of line it up with the front. And make sure it's running right across the bottom here. Then you can burnish. All right, and then we'll just add glue to the side flaps. Okay guys, and then to mat your pockets, these pockets here, what you need is a piece of your pattern paper that measures 3 inches by 7 3/4. And then you're going to do something very similar to how we did the pockets. So with the pockets, we measured in 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, but with the pattern paper, we're going to measure in 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inches, and then you're going to measure up from the bottom 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inches, and then make those lines. And then on this line, you're going to mark in 1 1/4 inches, 1 1/4 inches, and then connect these two, and then just cut out this section here. And then those are going to mat onto here perfectly. Just make sure you're leaving an even red border all the way around. All right, guys, and then for the closure, the last thing I'm gonna do is I've got just some black ribbon here. It's like a cotton polyester or something like that. So on the front of my album, I'm gonna put a piece of tape about right in the center here, and get some sort of a pick tool, get that backing off, and then I'm gonna place my tape, or sorry, my ribbon about right here, and then I'm gonna flip it over, and I probably have too much here, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. And I'm just gonna put some tape on the back. And then of course, when I attach my pattern paper to the front and back, I will use my Fabri-Tac glue to go over the ribbon. All right, and then just cut this apart. And then I will just make a bow to close that up. All right, guys, so that is the end of the tutorial. So you will be seeing this book lots more throughout December as I try to keep up with my December daily posts. And you'll see me embellish it more. As of right now, I'm just going to mat it. I'm not going to add any embellishments. I'm going to do that as I go so I can kind of add them on top of my photos. So thank you so much for joining me for this tutorial. If you guys haven't yet, I would love if you would join my Create with Martha Tucker Facebook group. I'll put the link below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would absolutely love if you would subscribe. We have lots of fun here. And I definitely would like if you guys would join us. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Bye-bye.